Hey, hey. Okay. Welcome back here. So, I've mostly finished our new wizard here who will be shortly joining the party. Except for I miss his hit points, I think. Yeah. So, he's got a constitution that's even. So, he's a wizard. So, he's really just looking at a d4 worth of hit points. Of course, it's covered up. Four hit points for our brand new wizard. With that go of 19. I know. Wait, hello. There we go. I know we grabbed the dagger for him. The staff he can't use. Basically, he uses that as a walking staff. Daggers do a d4. That's what I thought. There we go. There is our new wizard. Fresh with a face. Okay, so here's where things will get kind of interesting. Here's where we start kind of testing some of the other elements here. So our hex crawl stuff. I'd mentioned that I'm kind of using a couple different tools, including a table from one of them here, and that's kind of where things are going to start. Actually, 1 second here. Cool, sorry. So, I was looking for something to use to kind of do some generation stuff here. Kind of like how we're going to deal with terrain, because if we go over here to the map of our main continent here, our main area. Close this. I kind of generated the first bit just by me. I just did it, and this is what we're doing. So the ocean, Port Zurich here, and the guys haven't really ventured outside yet. I'm even saying like when they were scouting the waters, the night before, they probably didn't make it even far enough into the next hex. I think they were just kind of along the coast within a couple of kilometers at most. They were in a rowboat after all. So here, I was looking for some ideas as to how to deal with the hex crawl element. So when I was a kid and running these types of games, I just make it up. You leave the town of whatever. There's a road heading west. You travel along it for 3 days, all of which is plains. There's a forested area, whatever, right? And then you come to a fork in the road or a T junction in the road. Beyond the T junction is forest. North and south continues the road, however I managed to do it. But I just made it up as I was going along. And honestly, I just have a hex grid in front of me, and I'd be drawing, and I just put a dot, right? Put a dot down, scribble the name. There we go. Then we got a new town. We got a forest with a name of something. If I bothered to name any of the terrain areas. But I didn't randomize anything. It was me just making it up as I went along. Here I wanted, of course, since it's a solo game, I wanted a sense as to still kind of some of that generation coming from the Game Master and the Game Master emulator. So the tiles that I'm using here from Hexacastle. Are really cool. I like them. They fit out. They fit well. They have a kind of an old school style, and like the hex that it comes with is just redonkulous. I'll never fill this out in years. If the continent's even, I assume it's going to be that big, but like we'll be dealing with this for years and years and years if I go that route, and we haven't even explored anything yet. Like if I zoom right out. Like, this is what we've got for the continent, kind of the space. And I could just add a second map, because I've just flagged this as map 1. Right? Now, some of this we may be able to flesh out a little bit, rather than just kind of venturing between hex to hex. We may be kind of fleshing it out a little bit more at times to go, okay, so we're looking for this. This area is this. But I was looking for something to work with. So the hexacaso, I don't care about like the rules. I wasn't interested in. I looked at them. Not really for me. Not what I'm trying to do here. So I asked around, and in the there's a Facebook group that I joined early on when the group was forming, kind of thing. It was called the League of Solo TTRPG Gamers, Role Players, League of Solo Role Players. Sorry, at the moment the exact name kind of escapes me. The League of... Now it's bothering me, of course. But it's the League of Solo TTRPG Players, right? So a lot of people there are doing a variety of different things. A lot are involved in journaling games. A lot are involved in kind of the more procedural kind of games. Maybe like 4 Against the Darkness and some other very, very like focused kind of games, rather than what I like to do, which is what I want out of a solo game is a group experience with just me. Nobody else's timetables, nobody else's input. I'm just entertaining myself and maybe the odd person who might find my channel, take a look and go, fuck that, I don't want to watch any more of this bullshit. In that group, I believe it was the creator, suggested Flextail, the Flextail Hex Crawl Toolbox. Hex Crawl Toolbox, I believe it's called. Flextail Hex Crawl Toolbox. So I grabbed that, and there was a bundle, I think, on sale with a few other add-ons for it, most of which I didn't really necessarily care about, but they're there should I want them. And I started flipping through this, going, okay, cool, there's some neat ideas. Right now, I'm not using the whole thing. I'm basically using, and I apologize to the creators of Flextail, I'm basically using one single page out of it right now, which I have basically captured and saved here. I'm using basically a bunch of tables that if you looked, you look at it and go, I'm on this kind of terrain. I roll a d20 when I go to see what's in the next hex, and it will tell me what I can expect. So we got all kinds of things here. I noticed there's some stuff potentially missing here. There's no jungle terrain. We got desert terrain. We got plains terrain. We got aquatic water stuff. Forest, hills, mountain swamps, but there's no jungle. I'm thinking this area is not really jungle-ish anyway. I'm thinking we're dealing with forest, so I think maybe any role of the jungle is going to be just additional forest, because this isn't a tropical area. It's not, to me, it's not a jungle continent. If we deal with the South Tropics kind of ideals, maybe we'll deal with that. And over the course of this campaign thingy, whatever, maybe we continue to build things out. But so I'm going to go back into Port Sirik here, because this is important here. We have a road going north. We have a road going south. And we have two that kind of go east. One kind of northeast, one kind of southeast. So I'm going to come back to our map. And this is the way I think I'm going to just deal with this. So I'm going to zoom it a bit. I'm going to go to our little draw tool. I'm going to freehand it. Coming at a port. I do not want green though. We're going to switch that to black. Coming at a Port Sirik heading south. These roads going like this. And I'm thinking this one can go this way. And then we have one going north up the coast. Okay. I'll just continue to build on these roads, and I'll put them onto the map layer as we can keep going. Actually, maybe I should just do that right now. We'll stick those on the map layer. So some of this is going to be really scrawly, ugly stuff, but we'll go from there. So, the morning, our session notes here. In the morning, we dealt with the guys kind of dealing with the aftermath of the fish people attacking, and preparing, realizing like they got a couple of things now going on here. We got a few threads that I've in some ways kind of pushed through here. Our threads list, so Egil still needs to explore Port Zurich to find adventure. I think we might even be able to call that one a done thread pretty soon here, because it's kind of become just a generic thread. Recruit additional party members, we're in the middle of. Return Martha's belongings to her family. They live to the south of Port Zurich somewhere. Find the Kuotoa lair. Right now we're calling them the fish people. However, at the end, I think we also need to add one more NPC here, because we've heard of... It's going to modify... There we go. Because we have heard of Ernesto of Clan Gygax. He is a magic user. We'll grab this. That's weird that did that. I think it's worth throwing him into the character list because he is an NPC we have now heard of. He lives somewhere north of Port Zurich, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing, is heading north of Port Zurich in search of Ernesto's home. We don't really have too much information yet, but we do know there's a road, and it's been suggested possibly that, you know, we follow the road and keep an eye out. We will eventually find Ernesto's home. Now, we're going to actually kind of, this is the travel and the finding of the home and such is what I expect this scene to be, but we should test it. I've dropped the chaos factor to 4 because I think the guys were kind of somewhat in control last time. Test the scene. 2! Oh, that means there's going to be some changes here. Because 2, I believe, is an interrupt scene. Yes, it is. So this scene is not happening yet. We're going to be taking this scene, and it'll possibly be scene number 8. So we got an interrupt scene. So interrupt scenes we deal with like this here. Damn it, I was really kind of hoping to get to Ernesto. So with interrupt scenes, we generate a random event, right? So we generate a random event, and use that as the basis for the start of this scene. I'm going to flip through to our random event focus table. Let's do that. We'll roll a D100. We roll our percentile for 84. PC positive. Okay, well that's good. PC positive is good. So your PC is PC positive. Your PC is having a hard time and could use a break. Sure. Let's get to our meaning tables here. Our meaning is going to be, action 1 is going to be 14 block. Sorry, for a second there I thought we hit betray. Block and 10. Block burden. Block burden. Block burden. But it's PC positive. Block burden. That's a good question. I don't know if I've got anything for block burden. What kind of burden do they have? The only burden they really have is returning, I would say returning Martha's belongings to her family. But blocking that burden, this kind of, sometimes this is the issue with trying to figure out how to use Mythic. Is there something else we can kind of do to bring in a little bit more of this? Maybe not. You know what? I think I got absolutely nothing for this. Block burden makes no sense really to me aside from what we could have, so we're going to actually just scrap this. whole potential for an interrupt scene, and we're going to ignore it. We're going to go back to what we were doing. However, we're going to do kind of the usual since they will be traveling. We are going to, first of all, I'm going to turn to the table here that I really wanted to mess around with from FlexTale. And we are currently in planes. Currently in planes. So we roll a d20, and that's going to tell us what this d6 space is going to be. We're going to start with the d20. We're going to roll 13. And so what happens is this weights things a little bit. It's giving me aquatic. Okay. Let's go with it. Now we'll come to the map layer here. We'll send that to the back. The party ventures north along the road. As they kind of exit the plains area around Port Sirik, they come to a bridge. And I'm thinking what we're going to, since we know we're kind of to the north, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to come to a series of docks, or a series of docks or an island. I'm thinking an island, and I think that's what we're going to do here. We're going to come to an island. So there's a bridge, and then the bridge crosses beyond, and beyond there is, let's see if I can do a little bit of freehand drawing here. It's better green. I don't want to know. I don't want that. I would like. Freehand. I know this is pretty terrible. Don't think Roll20 is really meant for this kind of thing. There we go. We end up with an island. I'll just send that to the map layer. We have an island. So Egil and Berham travel north. Beyond the plains and farmland, coming to the edge of the sea, and a bridge leading to an island. At this point, I'm going to check for encounters. So we got these are wilderness encounters, I believe, that we're going to deal with. Do I have a wilderness encounter table somewhere in my manuals? Do not believe there is one in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but there could be, because these are wandering monsters for dungeon levels. So I'm going to take a quick look at our expert handbook. Wilderness Encounters, page 41. Adventures in the Wilderness. So, order of events in one game day. The party rises, studies spells, selects a direction of travel, check to see if the party becomes lost. Well, they're following a road. I'm not worried about becoming lost. We roll for wandering monsters, at which point we deal with, here we go, wilderness encounters. Do we have a general idea here? Main encounters are distance and evasion. What time of day? Most encounters occur either midday or in the evening. After the party has set up camp. Yeah, sure. Time during encounters is measured in rounds, 10 seconds each. Sure. Encounter distance, surprise, evasion. Chance of an encounter. Chance of an encounter in city, clear, grasslands, or inhabited. Versus woodlands, river, hills, barrenlands, desert, ocean. There we go, ocean. So with an ocean, we're dealing with a 5/6. This is on a D6. Do we have an encounter? Let's check for an encounter up en route to Ernesto's. 6 is a yes. So what kind of encounter are we dealing with? So, since we're on a road, do we have random tables I can roll on? Types of encounters. Okay. General types table in the center of the book. There we go. Wilderness encounter tables. So, what are we in here? Just so we're clear, some of the encounters are kind of nasty. Even though I held this ocean and called... Well, we roll a 6 regardless, right? I think since we're on a road, I'm going to give us a grasslands encounter table. We're going to roll D8. And we're going to roll 1. Men. Kind of men. Do we have any further information here? Alright, let's go back here. The result is the name of the subtable to use next. Oh, they continue on the other side. So men. Clear grassland will continue on there. This time it's a D12. 3. Bandits. Awesome. Alright, bandits it is. Alright. Pretty sure there's bandits listed in the basic Dungeon Master's Guide here. Bandits. 1, 2, 8 of them. Rolling a D8. A whopping 2. Okay. So, random encounter times 2. I think I know what we're going to deal with. As they are approaching the bridge, as they get near, they can see the island beyond, some distance across, probably like 100 meters out, easy or so. They can see this well cared for bridge spreading across, and as they approach, they notice that there are 2 men kind of hunkered down, sitting on at the edge of the bridge, just kind of sitting on the stonework. And as Egil and Berham near them, they stand up and turn towards them, and each of them, their hands drop to the pommel of their swords at their waists, and one of them looks out. What do we know about these bandits? We don't know anything about these bandits yet. Maybe we can get some ideas to what these bandits might want here. I'm guessing money. Possibly, you know, some corpses. Motivations. Let's roll for motivations for the bandits. Bandit motivation on a D100 using math. I don't need fudge dice. 97. Victim. Their motivation is victim. I'm thinking their motivation might be to create victims. Maybe that's the way they approach it. Even though their hands drop to the pommels of their weapons, each of them is carrying a sword, they kind of turn towards the party and, "Good day, my good sirs. Welcome to our bridge, the mighty stone bridge leading across the way to the wizard's castle." The guys look, we'll figure out whether there's actually a castle there later. I don't think there's. "Might I ask you a favor that you give a pair of down on their luck individuals a small token for crossing their bridge?" Berham looks at them and says, "I do not believe you own this bridge. This bridge belongs to the local barony. Or possibly the wizard." "No, my good sir, this bridge belongs to us, and for you to cross it will cost each of you 100 gold pieces each." Berham and Egil exchange looks, kind of laugh a little bit. Egil goes, "Do we look like we're carrying 100 gold pieces each?" "Not my problem. The price to pay is 100 gold pieces. Perhaps if you have something more valuable, we'll take that. Either way, you're not crossing." Egil quickly drops his own hand to the pommel of his sword and then wraps his hand around the hilt. "You want to test that theory?" And immediately the other two bandits draw their weapons. We're perfectly willing to test the theory. This is our bridge. Now back off. 100 gold pieces each." I'm thinking we got a little bit of a fight going on. So let's see here. I need a battle map, don't I? I really do. Okay, I'm going to have to look for a battle map. Because for now, though, we're going to use this. I think we're just going to have to make do. We got Berham. There we go. Actually, these are hexes. So we're going to need a grid. Let's just create a new page. Page created. Grid. Sure. Here's our battle map. In fact, battle map. There we go. So the bridge hello. The bridge, which would otherwise be not a problem for anybody, going to set here, and we need bandits. We need a couple of bandits here. None of those are going to work. Nope. Okay. Actually, let's just go rogue. That might pull up something useful. There. Well, those are demon kid. There we go. Mailed. Bandit number 1 here. And bandit number 2, kind of just at the edge of the bridge. Now, bandits. Okay, what do we got here for bandits? So as a bandit, he has an armor class of 6 and a single hit die. So we're going to roll hit points for each of them. This one's going on a 5. Again, 6, and we're going to roll a single hit die for this guy as well, 3. Bandits, according to this, they save as thieves. They do have a morale. They have a treasure, small XP value. I'm going to say they are carrying swords. That is the weapon that they will be carrying here. But we do need our player characters. We need Berham, who I see is kind of being about here. And I believe Egil's pretty much right next to him. Both of these guys are not exactly... Well, Egil especially is not overly... not overly strong. His hit points are pretty weak. I mean, he is a thief, and he rolled poorly. And he's got a really shitty constitution, too. So I'm going to kind of come to our rules here. We have no surprise. I'm just saying that is definitely true in this case. We do not need to roll surprise. So... one thing I completely forgot is that initiative is rolled every single round. So I believe we're going to kind of... Egil's definitely ready to do battle. With the swords being drawn, Berham realizes that things are about to get under control. He says, "There is no reason for this. We can talk." And the bandit looks over and says, "Yeah, the time for talking's over. We're going to take those 100 gold pieces off of your corpses." And Berham draws his own mace. Everyone now has weapons out, and we're ready to get into a fight, I think. So let's start with initiative. So, initiative is a d6. We're going to roll for our side first. Going on a 1. Not good. And their side's going on a 3. They're going to get to act first. They're not outnumbered, so there's no reason for them to roll morale. So instead, they are going to move. And a bandit can move 30 feet, which is not going to be an issue. 5, 10, 15 to Egil. 5, 10, and 15 to Berham, as they kind of move forward, bringing their swords to bear. Armor class of 6, so I'm thinking these guys are wearing armor and possibly toting shields based on armor classes here. Or actually, maybe not. Maybe just a very light armor, with some decent dexterity. So I'm thinking shields, no. Okay, so they move in. This could be really bad right off the bat. And they're going to attack. I believe they're working on a THAC0. They're 1 hit dice creature, so they're working on a THAC0 of 19. We'll start with this one here who strikes at Egil. Yeah, it's a hit. Sword does a d6, I think. D8. That's 2. As he strikes, Egil goes to move out of the way, and Egil is cut down. Egil is dead, just like that. Things go poorly. Our thief is already toast. Egil has died, struck down by one of the bandits. Berham's being left alive here, and now on his own, realizing what a difficult time he's now in. Does Berham strike back? It's his turn. He could retreat, seeing his friend just get, or his ally thief just get cut down. So much for this campaign, kind of semi-revolving around Egil. He was really just there to introduce the real party. Apparently, he's been cut down. He's dead. Berham is going to. I think Berham's going to strike with his mace. I see him maybe a little frustrated. No, Egil! And he brings his mace around and he swings it at the head or whatever of the one in front of him. Now this guy's got an AC of 6. Berham has a 0 adjustment to his attack. Straight roll. 6 is definitely a miss. Okay, so he's swung his weapon. Things don't go well. We come back around to the top order. We'll roll initiative again. We'll start with our side. 2. Start with their side. Oh, I think Berham's fucked. There's no reason to make a morale check. These guys move in, and now both of the bandits descend on Berham, who will hopefully survive this. But maybe not, as they're going to both be making attack rolls, swinging their swords. 17 is going to be a hit, because 17 will hit AC 2. Berham has an AC of 5 for D8 damage. 2 points of damage by the first one. And the second one gets to make his attack roll. 13. That's a 6 AC, which means he's going to miss. Berham brings up his shield in time to block the strike with the guy's sword. Berham is injured. He definitely cannot really take another hit. If he gets hit again, he might be dead, and we might be into a TPK already. So I think he's going to need to flee. Things did not go well. If either side decides to run away, the other side may chase. Time is measured in rounds for as long as the chase occurs. Yes, the side running away is evading, and those chasing are in pursuit. You may evade monsters if you can move faster than they can, and if you know where you're going. The thing that I think is what's going to allow Berham to retreat here is that they have Egil's body, and they let the cleric run away. Actually, we'll turn to the fates. We will turn to the fates. Our fate chart. Do they pursue Berham? I'm thinking very unlikely, because they just dropped Egil and they can search his body. Let the cleric go. So I'll roll our percentiles. We're at a chaos factor of 4. I never did. That's definitely going to be going up. Okay, Berham. Will they follow Berham? Again, very unlikely. 44. Under, very unlikely. They needed a 15 or under. They do not. Berham is going to be able to make Berham is going to be able to make his exit. as the bandits descend on Egil's corpse to loot it. Yeah, that's crappy. So Berham, now injured, makes his way back to makes his way away from the bandits in the hopes of finding an alternate. But in the end, the scene doesn't go well. It's not exactly the home of Ernesto of Gygax. Berham flees back to Port Cyric. Gone for some time. Returning that afternoon. The other thing is I think Egil would have been holding the party treasure. It hadn't been split up yet. I think it would either be on his person or in his room, one or the other. Not that Berham's going to be all that concerned, I think, but there we go. Berham returns to returning that afternoon to Port Cyric. Yeah, I think that did not go well at all. I was kind of hoping this character would survive, but he's going right into the graveyard. Right after Martha. But that's the way things work. So Berham, though, will rest up, probably for a couple of days. As a thief, I don't think he would have left the party treasure in his room. I think he would have been carrying everything he owned. So I'm thinking the bandits probably have that treasure now. So we're just going to kind of make some modifications here. He returns, bleeding slightly from the wound that he took in the battle, and he returns to the Lone Rose Inn in the dock ward, where upon entering, a drop of blood kind of falling from his arm onto the floor, and Anna looks up and she goes, "By the gods, what happened to you? Where's Egil?" As Berham, lumbers into the tavern and throws himself into a chair. "Oh, my dear lady, it was terrible. My poor friend, he was struck down by bandits upon the roads. I told him that it was safety in numbers. We had hoped to expand our numbers, but unfortunately, he's gone. I'm so sorry, my lady." And I think that's going to kind of bring the end of that scene, which means Egil's own thread disappears. Definitely need to recruit additional party members. We still need to return Martha's belongings to her family, and we still need to find the Kuatoa lair. But now we're down to just the cleric. Just the cleric. Okay. No new characters aside from bandits. They're not worth putting down there, I guess. They're supposed to be cannon fodder NPCs, but that didn't quite work out well. We know, actually, I'm just going to kind of do this. Egil's rowboat is probably somewhere down here. And, of course, we're back in the Lone Rose Inn. I'm thinking that's the end of that scene. And that is definitely going to increase our chaos factor to 5. Actually, you know what? I think that does bring us a new adventure, actually. And I think maybe those bandits should be on there. So because specifically, uh, Berham to avenge Egil's death. I think that makes a lot of sense. And the bandit gang north of Port Cyric. That's all we know of them so far. We'll add them as characters here. So perhaps we actually do have a bandit gang there, and maybe that's kind of what's happened. But we're really, if you never played the old D&D games, you're probably getting a sense as to how brutal they can be here, because our poor thief just did not do well. Berham perhaps needs to strike up some other possibilities here for recruitment. So for Berham's going to need 2 days of rest, because you basically, for every day of rest, you heal up 2. Yeah, so I'm just going to come back to the battle map for a second here. Just in case we're doing this again at some point, I'm going to get these guys here. We know that they were kind of hanging around the bridge. Egil has probably been stripped clean of his belongings, but it would now be in the possession of the bandits, should they go back. However, they kind of need to go back, or Berham needs to go back, because that's how he's going to recruit a magic user. Magic user I'd really like to see recruited. However, he needs to find others within town, so he rests for 2 days. And he starts spreading the word. He spreads the word through the Lone Rose Inn. He spreads the word through any other contacts he may have. He's not well connected here, but he asks Anna to spread the word that he needs adventurers. He needs men at arms, really, to go north to take care of these bandits. He wants to now bring his friend, not really friends, I would say, but his ally Egil, and Egil's body back for proper burial. I'll call that part of the thread of avenging him. Cool. Okay. Alright, is he successful? That's going to be the question. So, 50-50, I'm thinking. Are there any adventurers that are going to, heed the call? Does he find any adventurers? 50-50, we're at a chaos factor of 5 now. Do adventurers come looking for him? Yes! Yes, they do. How many adventures? I'm going to call it, does he get 2? Does he get at least 2? 50-50, I'll call it. 41 is a yes, so I'm going to call that 2 adventurers heed the call. They're interested in joining up. They are all for killing bandits. Bandit killing is, can be good work. So we're going to be back to generating characters again. So I'm actually, just because we didn't quite make it that far, and I don't think we're going to make it that far this session, I'm going to take Rowan out of there. And I need to get a sense as to what we've got here. I'm just going to pause the recording again. Alright, well, let's start rolling up some more characters here. I'm hoping, I really think that if we get 2 more, and then we grab the magic user, we might be in decent shape. So we're going to have to add 2 characters here. Don't know what kind of class yet. We'll go TBD. Let's start rolling some dice. Oops, sorry. Let's fix that. 3d6. We'll bring our dice up. Yeah, let's keep it on this side. 3d6 for strength. It's a 9. Not great. 3d6 for intelligence. That's an 11. For wisdom. Also 11. Dexterity. 17. I think we just found our thief again. Constitution. Roll high. 13. That's better. And charisma. 12. I think we just recruited a thief. It seems to be one of those things that, or it seems to be like that feels like that's what we're dealing with here. What? Prime requisites. We could possibly pull a halfling out of that, but with strength I don't think I really want to do that. So I think I'm going to go right into, I think we're going to have a new thief. Thief 1. That'll be a dex, and he'll get his 10%. 10% bonus because he's got a dex of 17. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to leave it at a dex of 17. Male or female? Male, give it a 50%, 50-50. Nope, that is a female rogue. 21, we'll say like 167 centimeters and say like, 60 kilograms. Brown eyes. Black hair. We'll do that. There we go. Kind of alignment. They're looking to go bandit hunting. I'm thinking neutral. They're in it for. She's in it for the money. So yeah, let's see here. I'm not going to exchange ability scores. We're going to roll for our hit points, actually. What are we doing with Thief again? And I think our Constitution is a +1, so that's going to be better here. Thief's a D4. 3, 4, so 5. 5 hit points maximum. That's alright, starting with that go 19. Need some money. So 3d 6 times 10 for gold. It's 130 gold. Not bad. This one will need to purchase equipment, which I'm actually going to put off. What kind of character name do we want this time? Let's roll on. Let's grab Xanathar's. This time it is a female thief. Spanish. Sure. Spanish female. 74. No, I don't want to go with that. Neva, no. Let's roll again. 54. Leocadia. Leocadia. The thief. Okay, there's one thief. But there's one character, a new character there. I'm gonna close that out. I'm gonna come back. I'll finish those off later, but I'll add another character and let's roll up our next newbie. Our next newbie to the party. TBFD. Alright, there we go. TBD. Once again, rolling up characters. We'll start here with strength. We could probably use another fighter here. 86 for strength. 11, not great. Intelligence. Wow, dumb as rocks. Wisdom. 9. Okay, dexterity. 14, are you kidding me? Constitution. 8. Charisma. 6. We end up, I think, kind of in the negatives. So I think this character needs to be re-rolled. Like, we're down, in terms of our adjustments, we end up with -3. So I think we're going to completely re-roll this character. That's just good practice here. We're going to just scrap this character. So Berham finds one that just doesn't seem to be a fit and turns him away. We'll try this again. 8. This is how dice usually go for me. Intelligence. 5. We're going to be even worse here. Awesome. 3d6 for wisdom. 11. Dexterity. 15. Constitution. 7. And finally, charisma. 10. Alright, what do we have here? Oops, not 1. We want 10. We're still in the negatives. We're still in the negatives. So another one comes through the door and is turned away. No, we're going to re-roll again. This character is scrapped. Although, you know, only 2 adventures heed the call. You know what? He doesn't really have the luxury of this, so no, he's actually going to, Berham turns 1 down for not being appropriately skilled, and recruits a female thief named, sorry, what did we name her again? Leocadia. Leocadia. That's over the next 2 days. Perhaps he will try again. So I'm thinking, Berham spends another week trying to recruit members. We're going to go back to our fate chart here. Does he recruit anymore? Now, because we already kind of had a little bit going on here, we're at a chaos factor of 5. I'm thinking it's unlikely that he is able to recruit anymore, but we'll give it a shot. Does he recruit anymore? 61? No. No other potential recruits show up. So, instead, Berham might need to try hiring retainers. If that is doable, because that's something I don't remember how that works. I know what share they take in treasure and XP, but they're not technically part of the party. So, retainers, hiring and using, page 36. Oops, sorry, wrong book. Page 36 in the player's book. That is very simply just the table. Is there more? I think there's another page here, 62. So how does hiring retainers work? So retainers, person hired by the character to help on adventures. Cool. So retainers are sometimes called hirelings. Never characters run by players, although in this case everybody's run by me. They are basically NPCs. If you want to hire a retainer, use the following procedure. Find NPCs interested in working as retainers. Tell them about the job, including the pay offer, what's expected of them, how long you intend to keep them. Some NPCs will turn down your offer, but some will probably accept. Okay. If you find one that is acceptable, buy all the equipment the NPC will need. This could get expensive. Make a retainer sheet to be kept with your character sheet. This should be similar to the character information, including the retainers, whatever. You have all their information. Cool. Using retainers. When you check your character to see if you're ready for adventure, check the retainer sheet at the same time, whatever. That is not really all that helpful, is it? I think there was some information about retainers in the Dungeon Master's rulebook on page 20. Let's see here. Be sure you're familiar with all the rules for retainers. If there are 3 or more players, no retainers should be needed. Okay, however, if only 1 or 2 permitted dungeons, whatever. If you want the retainers to take 1 or 2 retainers, go ahead and do it. Don't worry about the retainer reactions, pay rates, or other details. Assume that a retainer's been found, hired for a price. Just tell the player the amount, and it's ready to go. Make up a retainer sheet and start the game. If you and the players decide to make the finding and hiring retainers part of the game, you should be ready for the following situations. Character will search for retainers. You should be ready to describe the local tavern in town. Many normal men unsuited for adventure would apply for the job. Among them should be 1 or more first-level NPCs, okay, of the type sought. The details of the NPC hired may be made up instead of rolled. You can assume that an NPC fighter would have above average strength. So how much should it cost to... When the rate of pay is offered to the job described, you should roll 2d6 to see if the retainer accepts the job. You may adjust the roll by +1 for good pay or -1 for poor offer. See, it doesn't really give you a sense as to how much a retainer should cost. Okay, I think I might just need to think about this a little bit. We're going to delete Mr. TBD here. I'm going to add a new folder called Retainers. And then we'll throw this down here. Yeah, okay, so our party began as 1, grew to 3, and is back down to 1. Oh, sorry, with a new one, with a new fighter. So we're back down to 1 and then back up to 2. So with little luck finding adventures, Berham considers trying to hire retainers. Perhaps town guardsmen would be interested in a little extra work. That is the reasoning that I'm going with next time. When we kick this thing back off and I need to get a party that's going to live and survive more than a single combat here. I think if Berham had stayed to fight, I think that would have been a TPK and that would have been bad. He could have got lucky and managed to make it through, but it really wasn't seeming that things were going to go his way. So that is it for today. Next time we'll try to hire some retainers, maybe town guardsmen. I think that's going to be what makes the most sense. Take it easy.